Hi, it's Mike DelSignore, Massachusetts OUI lawyer. Today's video, I want to talk about the field sobriety test. The report says you failed field sobriety test. Is your case over? In fact, it's not. Almost every report's going to say you failed field sobriety test, did not do as instructed. But when I look at these tests, in a lot of cases, I'm going to basically say you passed the test, you did very well, or the test don't show impairment. So don't overreact when you see the report says you failed field sobriety test. It's really about degrees. They're always going to say somebody missed heel to toe, was unsteady, things like that. But what I'm looking for and what juries, judges are looking for is major observations. Did you stumble? Did you stagger? Did you basically do the gist of the test? How many steps did you do? Did you do 9 out, 9 back? Now, if you took too many steps, that's common. Sometimes people will correct themselves mid-test. They'll realize, oh, I misstepped here, so then they will count that. And they don't know that the officer is judging just on 9. The officer says go out 9, back 9. So most people think that if you do a few extra steps, it's not a big deal. So the problem with field sobriety tests is you're at a disadvantage. You don't know the scoring. The officers rush through the instructions often. They don't consider your medical condition. They don't consider that you're nervous, you're unsure, that it's dark on the side of the road, cars are going by. All those things are not considered by the officer. The officer assumes that if you don't do perfectly on that test, it's because of alcohol. That assumption is flawed. And I can show that in court. I've been doing this for over 20 years, attacking field sobriety tests, showing judges and juries why these things aren't pinpoint, precise, accurate tests. And one thing I like to do is compare the field tests to other areas in the investigation. So sometimes they'll say you were unsteady on the one-leg stand or the walk and turn. But were you ever unsteady at booking? How'd you get out of the car? If there's no mention of any unsteadiness other than the field sobriety test, I can argue that, your normal balance was fine. It's only when you were doing something unusual that we saw signs of unsteadiness. If you were impaired, we would have seen that throughout the encounter. So field sobriety tests are tests that often help the case or many times don't really hurt the case. I'll look at other aspects of the case, and when I prepare defense, I focus on the strongest part of the case. If it's the driving, the field sobriety test, and I use that and reinforce that to create reasonable doubt. Because it's easy to get arrested for an OUI. It's hard to be convicted. The standard is very high. The government's got to prove the case to the highest degree of certainty beyond a reasonable doubt. So if you want to talk more about your field sobriety tests, whether good for the case, bad for the case, how we can potentially use those as part of your defense, feel free to reach out to me. I've been helping people for a very long time doing this. I go to courts all over Massachusetts and would like to help you offer my expertise, my experience in pretty much every court in Massachusetts. I've questioned a lot of police officers. I know what to look for. I know where the flaws in these exercises are and how I can use those to help you get the result you want, which is a not guilty verdict. Call, text me anytime. My name's Mike DelSignore, 781-686-5924.